Hello, welcome to our soul tribe. I am Eva, and this is going to be a short video today. I just wanted to post because I had a really interesting conversation with my daughter today. So, we were on our way to go get ice cream, and without going into too much detail, life's been lifing, right? and I'm gonna admit, I've been down. I've had some issues, some things going on that need to be worked through, right? And she asked me because, of course, she's absolutely an empath like her mom. So, no matter what mask I put on, she's always able to see right through it. Okay. And she asked me, she said, Mom, you know, I know you going through some things, you haven't really been acting yourself lately. What's going on? Is everything okay? Are you sad? And the average, what people would say, an average parent, right, would have responded like, no, everything's fine, everything's great, and just cover it up, right, because we don't want to have our children worried, right, nor should they. The only thing is, I don't have an average child. Again, I have a child that literally sees through all of that. So the best thing that I can be with her is honest, right? Because through my honesty and my transparency, she's able to grow. I mean, she's 17. She's on her way well into young adulthood. So using these times to really be honest and transparent, to help, it could help her grow and help her develop, and maybe and hopefully help her process things um, better as she goes through life. So, I was honest with her. I said, you know what, I have been sad. I have been sad. And I let her know that, but that's okay, because that's part of the process, right? Things happen, right? I said in my last video, feel, deal, and heal. So, yes, my initial feelings were sadness, right? I felt sad. I felt nervous. I felt scared. I felt worried, right? I felt other emotions, right? Abandonment comes up, um, all those things. That's what I felt, right? Whether some of those things are the actual truth or actually what's going on, that's neither here nor there, because like I said, that's what I felt, and I acknowledged that, right? So now my next step was to deal. And that's what I explained to her. So I deal, and again, I didn't go into too much detail with her. However, it's not about, just like I'm not going to go into too much detail with you. It's not about so much going through the detail. It's about me sharing the process, right? Because this process fits all different aspects of life. Heartbreak, loss of a job, loss of a loved one, right? Um, the process still fits, okay? So I explained to her, yes, I felt these feelings initially, right? The next stage is to deal, okay? And how I dealt, again, like I shared in the last video, it's almost amazing, right? Because I share these things in the video and then they kind of come to fruition to kind of give me a chance to practice what I preach and apply those tools that I've learned and to share them with you guys. So it's amazing. Okay. But anyway, so I dealt, and how I dealt with it. I have an amazing tribe that I developed over the years. I have amazing support in my life. People that I trust, people that I keep in my life, on all different areas of my life, right? I have an amazing work tribe. I have an amazing um, family tribe. I have an amazing recovery community tribe, right? I even have I have the ability to connect with people that I just met. So, even if I'm sad in the mall sitting down, feeling heavy, right? It always seems to be that one person sitting next to me that says, hey, you okay? Oh man, you asked the wrong person that. Because see, I don't just say, yeah, I'm okay, or no, I'm all right, right? No, I'm gonna tell you exactly how I feel if that's what resonates with me. If I feel moved to do so, right? Because that's what's helping me. That's what I need at that time. So I utilized my tribe, right? I utilized my tribe. I vented, I cried, I lashed out, right? I got a little, and some of you guys can respect this, I got a little hood in the way I feel. Sometimes we gotta, you gotta, you say things that you don't necessarily mean that you're gonna do, but sometimes you just gotta get it out. It's just the equivalent of going to a rage room, right? I don't want to bust a TV that I purchased in my house that I have to clean up, right? That I have to buy another one and replenish that, have it mounted, all those things. When we're grown and we pay bills and we purchase things for ourselves, we think about that, right? You're not so quick to just bust that TV. So you go to a rage room, right? And you bust the hell out that TV because it feels good. It gets it out. It feels good. And then you move on and you go home and you get to watch your nicely mounted, well adjusted screen TV, right? With no cracks in it. And you move on. You just get it out. So I did all I released my emotions, and I'm gonna say this, reaching out to people probably got tired or I can sense when, so it's like, hold on, like it's been a month now. You still angry or sad or vent about the same thing every time I see you. So I had to even evaluate that, right? So that's when I access different support groups, on Facebook, on YouTube, where I'm not necessarily physically interacting with people, but I'm able to get some level of support, from communities that I feel I identify closely with, right? So, the spiritual community, community for all different, just, I'm not gonna get into too much details because it's I don't want to tell exactly everything that's going on because it's really not relevant for this for this video. What's relevant is the process that I followed to reach where I am now, which is the healing. And again, this is, what I'm explaining to my daughter, right? And what I had to let her know is that if you remember, not the video before the last, okay? My daughter and I, for the 1111 portal, we wrote down our intentions for all areas of our life. We wrote them down, okay? And then we mailed them to ourselves. And then when we received the letters in the mail, we read them, not to each other, we read them to ourselves. Just to really be clear and set the intentions and be very specific of what it is that we want out of this life. And in dealing with the situation that I'm going through, I reached my healing journey, okay? I reached my healing journey. And once I got to the healing journey, that's at the point where I really started doing reflection, right? Because, like I said before, we have to, every situation, we have to bring it back to us, okay? We have to bring it back to us. That's a must. Because out of everything that's going on in our life, we are the common denominator. You are the common denominator in everything that's happening in your life. So why not focus on you? And in doing so, again, you start the searching process. You start seeking different things out, different, meditation is something that I've always been a fan of, and there's so many different levels of meditation, right? So I started learning some newer meditation techniques to really calm me down and really um, ground me and help me to refocus and recenter myself. Okay, so also too, with exercising, I started doing more exercises, not so much for the weight loss aspect or the weight training aspect, but exercises that would help with my moods, that would help with would help calm me, would help relax me, so that I could get a good night's sleep. Those things I realized that, I started emotional eating. I went from not being able to eat, right, to emotional eating, and now I'm putting junk back in my body, right? The sugars, the carbs, a lot of them, eating out a lot more, which of course, money, right? And so then I realized that, and I started to drink more water and eat a little better, right? Which helps your mood. For those of you that don't know, if you change your diet and you put more nutritious food in your body, you will start to feel better mentally. Okay. I started taking different level vitamins by way of the tinctures. That's how I like to ingest my vitamins, because it gets directly into the bloodstream. So ashwagandha, is something that I started taking that really helps with the mood. So all of these things I did because even though I wasn't quite, feeling like, okay, all right, I'm all better, still I was taking the steps to put myself in a more calm state, in a more grounded, centered state, so that I could start really doing the healing work. And what I started to reflect. So now I'm going back to that. I know I jump all over the place. You got to excuse me because I'm still healing, y'all. It's okay. It's okay. I appreciate all the support. And so taking it back to the 1111 portal and the setting of intentions, right? So my daughter and myself, and this was around okay, 1111 portal, November 11th. That was when we did all of this, right? This was around a time when things started going a little left, for lack of better words, right? And it didn't happen all of a sudden. It happened gradually, but it was very obvious, right? The disconnect, all of those things with an individual. It just happened. It happened. And it was one of those things where it was like, wow, I want to be present. I want to be, available and all these things. And I want to, really be a active part in people's lives, right? I really want to be of help to people. Like that's what I do for a living. That's what I do, as a parent, as a daughter, as a sister, as a significant other or mate or whatever you call it. I that's who I am, right? And that's who I always have been in people's lives, right? So when I don't feel like I'm being allowed to be who I am, that affects me. That affects me. However, I know that the average person doesn't understand, right? So sometimes in people's minds, they think, well, I don't want to bother her or burden her with my issues. And I get that. I get that. Because the average person doesn't want to be burdened. The average person can't handle those burdens because it takes away from them. But that's one of those things. I can't expect everybody to understand exactly who I am. I understand who I am, right? So I set some very clear intentions for all areas of my life. And this is what's amazing, right? I'm sitting here. I thought, because I'm like, I'm sitting here being sad. I'm sitting here feeling all of those feelings that I felt. And I'm dealing with it, right? And the fact of the matter is, like I said in the last video, watch what you wish for, because you just might get it. Okay? I set very clear intentions for my life. The thing, see, all of my life, I have accepted the bare minimum. I have accepted that out of people, places, and things. I've expected the bare minimum out of different services when I go to different establishments, even when I pay for it, right? I've accepted the bare minimum because it's like the expectation is, well, they're doing the best that they can, or, with what they have. So the ideal is, I don't want to like this doctor's office that I'm going to is very convenient. It's very convenient. It's right by the house, and it's black owned or something like that, and I really like going to them. So even though I'm not getting the treatment or the services, right, that I should be getting, that I should be expecting for myself, I'm like, well, you know what? They're doing the best they could, so I keep going. I'm selling myself short, right? Or even in relationships, it's like, well, because like I said before, I see people for exactly who they are. So I'm ready to be here and be a position and support, right, until people see it for themselves. And the fact of the matter is, again, my needs are not always getting met, or even not, and the who I am becomes, people start to not really appreciate it, and it's not always on purpose. It happens. However, again, like I said, I set intentions for what I desire, and I was very clear, because I do matter. What I want, what I desire, what I deserve, that does matter. And I started to understand that, which is why I was very intentional about setting, my desires. And again, I am sitting here being sad and feeling all of these feelings when everything that's happening, it's in alignment with the desires that I set. Because obviously those people, places, and things that are being removed, be it for a long term or short term, be it for ever or just for a season, things are being shifted. Things are being shifted away from, if people, places, and things are not able to align with those desires that I set, source, the universe, God, shifts and removes and adds things, so that, because my intentions were heard very clearly. Very clearly, I put it out there. So now it's nothing left but for source to work its magic in my life, right? And yes, it is very hard to process. However, sometimes we ascend. And see, I've ascended. I told you in our last video, it's harvest time, right? I wasn't playing. I felt that energy. I'm not just talking to be talking, right? It is harvest time. It's time. We don't have time to play around anymore. Things are happening. So those things that are appearing to be those tower moments and everything else, they are simply moving us into alignment with our desired intentions. You set those intentions. That's why I have to tell myself, you set those. And you want to know something I discovered through all of that? I've always had this power. I've always had the power of manifestation. We all do. And I've always known the reason why I never accessed it before in the way that I'm doing now is because I've always subconsciously been fearful that the people that I knew were not ascended to my level. I knew that once I said what I desired and what I needed, that they were going to fall off because they weren't able to provide it at that time. Right? What happens is, and again, that's not saying that that's a forever thing. It's just saying that if and when they become their authentic self and they work through those inner childhood wounds or those insecurities or whatever they're going through, and those masks come off, right? Then they could ascend to our level, right? So patience is needed. Patience is needed. And we must be patient. We must be patient. We must understand that it's not for us to do the work on anybody else. They have to do their work. I can't force anybody to work through their ego, work through their pride, work through their embarrassment, work through their guilt, whatever they're feeling, right? I can't force anybody to communicate because I've tried. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm not willing to go outside of myself and become a nuisance in somebody's life because I'm unhappy, because I'm unfulfilled, because I feel like things should go a certain way. No, everybody has free will. Everybody has free will. Everybody has the ability to create their own reality. And some people understand this process better than others, which is partially why I'm bringing it to you guys. As I go through my process, I share it because we can learn from each other. We can learn from each other. But I've definitely lived an amazing, we're going to say an amazing life, because it has been amazing, because it's been a life full of redirection and learning, right? But that redirection, that is so powerful because I understand that things are a redirection and I act accordingly. I still have a whole life to live. I have amazing things on the horizon, and they will not manifest if I remain in hermit mode longer than is necessary. Sometimes it's necessary to go into hermit mode, to take some reflection, to take a look at ourselves, because we have to do that shadow work. We have to do the work on ourselves so that we can ascend to that higher level. Okay? So I encourage you, if you are having tower moments in your life and it seems like one thing after another is happening and it just seems like everything is falling apart, remember what I said in the last video. Things are not falling apart. Things are falling into place. It's time for you to learn the lessons that you need to learn, because this did not just start here. These are lessons. These are karmic lessons that keep coming up for you and for us, because we refuse to learn the lessons that we're being meant to learn. You know why? Because we have that thing called free will, and we keep taking our will back. We keep thinking that we have control over this thing called life, and we need to understand control is impossible the moment it's suggested. The only thing you have control over is your thoughts and your behaviors, and how you allow yourself to be guided, and how and listening to that inner being, really taking heed to that inner guidance system, right? I referred to this before. Our inner guidance system is like the GPS. GPS When you enter an address into the GPS, let's say you enter the address for Meyer into the GPS, it is going to take you to Meyer. It is going to take you there the most efficient way, the most direct route to Meyer from where you are. That's what it's programmed to do. Now, what happens when you say, oh, I got to stop by grandma's house and drop something off? Soon as you see, grandma's house is left and Meyer would have been to the right. Soon as you hit that left, it's going to say rerouting, rerouting, rerouting. And if you don't turn it off, it's going to get really irritated because she's going to keep saying rerouting, 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 right? Until you get back on route. So now when you get back on route, she's quiet again and she navigates you there. Now, let's say you leave grandma's house and you're on your way to Meyer. And then you thought, oh, I got to stop at brother's house. So you stop there. It's rerouting, right? Because you keep making stops that are not in alignment with Meyer, which is the destination that you put in. You said that destination. So what we do within ourselves, when we set intentions for ourselves and we set desires for ourselves, we know what we don't want. So we automatically set a desire for what we want by experiencing what we don't want. If you are with a spouse that's abusive, you ought to, and those feelings and those things that you feel and that pain that you feel, that automatically sets a desire that you want somebody that's not abusive. If you are experiencing, institutionalized living, be it jail or treatment, and those feelings, that feeling of isolation, all those things, you automatically set that intention that you want freedom. You want independent living, right? You automatically set those intentions. So now we've set our intentions and we set our desires, and our inner guidance system, like that GPS, it is directing us the most efficient and direct route toward our desires. When we veer off because of free will, because you decide you want to stay in that situation, or you want to do things this way, or you want to take control that way, even though it makes you feel some type of way, even though you're really not feeling fully, oh man, I got tongue tied. Even though you're really not fully feeling aligned with that path that you chose, what happens? You're being rerouted. That's your tower moment. You're being rerouted. You're being rerouted. That's exactly what's happening. So instead of being upset or the why me, ask, what's the lesson in this? Do the inner healing work. Push that ego and pride aside a little bit, right? And start that process, start that healing process so that you can be back on your path. That is that your inner guidance system is guiding you on to the best possible route, right? To your desired destination, your desired outcome, your desired intention. And that's what's happening. So now let me bring it back to me, right? So that's what's going on. And when I realized what was happening and I accepted what was happening and I became okay with what was happening, I felt a little bit lighter. I felt a little bit lighter, right? And I surrender to this process. Okay, and I understand and I hold true and I hold strong to my desires, because that's exactly what I want out of this life, and I will get what I want out of this life in one way or another. It may not come the way that I thought it was going to come. It may not come through the place that I thought it was going to come. It may not come through the person that I thought it was going to come. I wish it would. I wish it did. I really do. I wish that things would go, my way. We love to have things go our way, right? However, it's not always to be, right? And all we can do is just keep moving forward, keep doing the work on us. Remember, the focus is on me. Turn the focus back on you consistently. However, feel those feelings. Cry if you have to. It's sad. It hurts. It hurts. It really does. Use your team around you. That's why you never get rid of your team, no matter what anybody says. Oh, you don't need this. Why you still doing that? You know why? Because these type of things happen and you need your people that are always there, right? So I just wanted to give you that message. This is a message of healing. This is a message of, just an amazing life and abundance. And I know that we are all going through a lot of things in our lives. And congratulations. That's what I'm going to say. Congratulations, because you have been chosen to really elevate. The only way to elevate is through healing. The only way to elevate is through the work on yourself. The only way to elevate is really getting that ego in check and that pride, okay? They say pride before the fall. Pride before the fall. So surround yourself with people that uplift you. Surround yourself with people that love you. Surround yourself with people that are encouraging you. Okay? Surround yourself with those people and all will be well. I love each and every one of you, and I am so inspired to be on this journey with you. I have some amazing things coming. I cannot wait to share. It's in development, y'all. It's coming. It's coming. Just be patient with me always, okay? All right. Have an amazing evening. Okay, I'm not asking, I'm telling you, have an amazing evening, and an evening that is as amazing as you are. And until we meet again, you are powerful. You are a powerful creator, and you are manifesting within divine timing. The creator that created you gave you the amazing power to create in this lifetime. Please access your powers, okay? Be diligent. Be diligent about accessing your powers, because it's all within and it doesn't cost a thing. It just takes a little time. And if you need help with meditation, if you want to learn more about some of the things that I discussed, please, I am an absolute open book. Anybody that knows me will tell you that. All you have to do is reach out, comment below, and I will reach out to you. I will respond. I may even do another video in regards to whatever you comment, just to elaborate on anything you need clarification on. Okay? All right. Well, peace, and we will see each other soon.